You found it. Your home for the best content on your favorite team, the Fighting Tigers of LSU. Do us a favor, subscribe to the channel, leave your comments below, and be sure to smash that like button.
There's a smidge of LSU football transfer portal news that's worth getting to. Remember, today is the final day for players to enter the football, spring football portal window. That 10-day window closes on Friday. And Brian Kelly has been pretty upfront about LSU's approach to the transfer portal, that weren't necessarily to add, but if there was someone who might be a transformative type player and better, then certainly you'd have that conversation. Well, interestingly enough, Matt Zenitz is reporting that USF, that's Florida, defensive lineman Bernard Gooden is going to visit LSU tonight. So he arrives at LSU tonight for a visit with the LSU football program. And this is an interesting one to me for a couple of reasons. We have talked about defensive line as being a spot where if LSU was going to target someone in the transfer portal, that in theory would be the spot where they would. Remember, you've got numbers there at defensive line. What you don't have is a lot of productivity. You've got 9 scholarship interior defensive linemen. So this isn't exactly a spot where you are, where like a year ago you desperately needed bodies after you had guys transfer out both in the December and spring portal window. So you had to go get JVR Suggs and you added Gio Paez. Like, you needed bodies at that spot. And it ended up being that you ended up kicking a guy like Paris Shand inside. You had to play, you moved Ahmad Bro from end to tackle and bulked him up because you needed bodies there. Anyway, Bernard Gooden is interesting because this is a guy that hits the transfer portal from South Florida. He's from Montgomery, Alabama. He played at Wake Forest, then transferred to South Florida, and now he's back in the portal again. He's 6'1", 280. He played in 13 games at South Florida this year, 35 tackles. Not necessarily a guy that has had this amazing productivity. Played in just 2 games in 2023, the first year that he transferred there to South Florida. So all that to say, in 2021 he redshirted at Wake Forest. In 2022 he played in 12 games, but had only 7 tackles, very minimal impact. He sat out 2023 as a transfer, just saw action in a couple games. But then in 2024, this past year, played in 13 games, started 11 times, had 35 tackles. I guess the point I'm making is you have a guy that is 6'1", 280. He is, according to the transfer portal rankings, for whatever that is worth, right? I mean, you can take the portal rankings with a grain of salt. But he's the highest rated available player right now in the portal. But 6'1", 280, a guy that didn't even start every game a year ago at South Florida. I just don't know that that's the guy that is the transformative type player. Now, my hope is that the LSU coaching staff is obviously looking at this going, okay, well, we know who the best guys are in the portal. We've done scouting and all that sort of stuff to see who's available and what's what there. But, as you scroll through, and I'm looking at these portal rankings right now, for Gooden, there he is. He's the number 49. This is according to 24/7. He's the number 49 overall prospect in the transfer portal, and he's the highest rated uncommitted portal player. So it never hurts to add depth and talent across the defensive line or anywhere at a position. But I'm also not sure that that's the guy that is the immediate impact, transformative guy that you're looking for at that position. One thing is certain, that Gooden, that LSU has money to spend in the portal. And at this point, through NIL, I don't think they would be bringing in someone for a visit if they didn't think this person could be impactful. But I also look at Gooden and say, if there's opportunities elsewhere where he wouldn't be part of such a heavy rotation, that might make more sense. I mean, I'll remind you again, the most experienced defensive tackle you have as far as starts is Jacobian Guillory, who's made 5 starts in his LSU career. Now, he's played in 40 games, but he's made 5 career starts. So Gooden, starting 11 games a year ago, has more starts, but it's also not necessarily the guy that, like the way a Patrick Payton is such an accomplished, and it's like if someone like that entered the portal and you had a guy that was a 3-year starter at a Power 5 school and been a really impactful guy, that feels like a different conversation. But we'll keep an eye on it. At this point, new defensive line coach and Kyle Williams. Maybe there's something Kyle sees there. He loves an interior pass rush. That's what Kyle Williams did at Buffalo. It's what he did at LSU. It's what he's going to try to do with these guys. Maybe that's something to keep an eye on with Bernard Gooden. But LSU, again, hosting the top available transfer portal player this weekend, according to Matt Zenitz at 24/7, arriving in Baton Rouge here tonight for a visit with the LSU football team, a possible portal addition for LSU. We'll see how that goes here over the next few days with that visit. And maybe LSU does add a player here in the spring portal after the only portal movement we've seen so far with LSU in the spring has been the 2 players that have left, with John Emery and Javen Nicholas. Been quiet as we anticipated it would be. This would be a little bit of a splash if they were able to get Bernard Gooden, but we'll keep you posted.
Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.